you're in a 9 to 5 and it's draining your energy. By the end of your shift, you're absolutely destroyed, right? And you've asked yourself, why am I so tired? And you feel like it's that you're working so hard and that's the reason why you're tired. What I actually want to share with you in this video is a reframe that I did because I was in the corporate world before. I found it really challenging in the corporate world, and there was some things that I was doing that were blind spots for me that I didn't realize were affecting my energy levels. So a lot of our time is spent really, someone that's an ADHD and in a 9 to 5 corporate environment, we spend a lot of our time in what I'd call like a reactive avoidance. So what we actually are doing is we're spending a lot of our time trying to mask ourselves and trying to be like others that are around us that are operating in this environment, which is very reactive, right? It's you have to do this now. No, then this, then this. Like there's a lot of things that are taking place. My nose is always clogged up here, man, and it's likely that I've got something in my nose right now because of the pollen. But yeah, let me just continue. So what I've noticed is that when I was in the corporate world, I want to try and keep this intentional, so I'm going to look at my notes. But when I was in the corporate world, I was finding it really challenging to, like, there was a resistance, right? Oh, I've got to do that task now. I really don't want to do that task. I'm not motivated to do that task, right? And what I've really understood about my ADHD is that, and ADHD in general as an adult, is that we are interest based and emotional based action taking. So, what do I mean when I say that? The day before, you have to go to the gym or you have to do anything the day before. Your intentions are very, very good for what you want to do the next day. You planned ahead. You said, yeah, you know what? Today I'm going to do this. You've done that. You've gone to sleep, but you wake up now, and you do not feel like doing that thing in the same way that you felt the day before. But what you end up doing is you end up saying to yourself, well, because I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it because I don't have motivation for it, right? We're trying to hang on to that motivation that we had before. And because it's not the same as it was before, when we thought of the idea or even when we planned for the next day, it obviously doesn't have the same level of, I'd say, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't have the same excitement that it had when you were planning it, if you want to call it, right? It's really hard for us to plan anyway, right? But let's just say plan. Let's just use the word plan, right? So what we then do is we say, I'm not motivated to do that at all. And then what we end up doing is we go into a reactive avoidance. And the reactive avoidance, the biggest one that most of us do is doom scrolling, right? Because we're going to get the outcome of getting our dopamine hit, and we're going to get our outcome of avoiding the thing that we don't want to do. But the problem with that is that we end up having this shame afterwards, which is a cycle that we get ourselves into all the time. It's this shame loop. So I want to tie this into like the 9 to 5 and make it a bit more intentional about you being in a 9 to 5 and what's actually going on with the energy, right? So your energy is being sucked from the pretense, right? You're pretending that everything's fine. You're pretending that you can actually operate in this environment when you can't, right? And the main reason why you can't is because you have a context for what the 9 to 5 means to you. So, for example, one of my clients I was speaking to this morning, she's in a 9 to 5. She's finding it extremely challenging to do the 9 to 5 because there's things that are required of her that is not really suited for her brain, especially for someone who doesn't really like that type of way of working. So there's a lot of energy taken up from avoiding, right, the things that she has to do until the last minute, because then that last minute of doing it gives her obviously a spike of, like, her cortisol levels go higher, and there's this whole rush of like, I've got to do this in 1 hour or whatever, right? That's exactly what happened to me as well, right? Monday, I start my week. There's this boring ass tasks on my list that I have to do, and I'm just feeling like I want to do them, but I just can't be bothered. And not just that I don't have the motivation to do them, there's also distractions that are making me do the thing throughout my day. People ask me questions, messages that, like, things that just happen reactively in my day that I have to deal with, right? So by the end of my day, I just feel like I haven't achieved nothing, right? And then it comes to Thursday and I'm like, great, awesome. We're on Thursday again and I've not done any of the stuff I was supposed to do, but I do have to finish it by Friday. Okay, cool. I've still got time. And then Friday, I just plow through all of it and I get it all done on a Friday, right? But what was the problem with me doing that on Monday? The problem is that I have a context that you notice that I'm having a storyline for what the work meant for me. Oh, boring. Like you just have this kind of like really disempowering context for work in that environment, and that's the thing holding you back, and that is energy draining. It's more energy draining than actually doing the thing. So if I could have done it in that Friday, the whole entire Friday, like just finished the whole week's work on a Friday, but why does it feel like I just slugged out the whole week when I didn't? I was avoiding so much that it felt as energy. It just felt as draining as the resistance, right? So you need to change your context for what work means for you. Like what are you resentful about that the work is doing? Like maybe there's a project that you have in mind. Like a lot of what led me to leaving my 9 to 5 is that I was resentful that I was doing stuff that wasn't purpose driven. It was very just like linear. And for that reason, it didn't really give me a dopamine hit from the stuff that I was doing. It's just very boring, right? The work that I do now has some level of stress as well, right? Because I'm an entrepreneur, but at the same time, it gives me a lot of novelty when I'm on a call with a client, I'm helping them through something, when I'm doing content creation for specific people that I like to target. And the people that I like to target, of course, is you, right? It's people that are in your 9 to 5. You really don't find it as the end goal. It's just the thing that helps you to survive. And it's okay. It's good that you have that. But the key thing is that you want to transition from that to something that's a little bit more suited for your brain. And you've realized that now because you've been late diagnosed, right? You've realized that, I've been doing this thing for survival mode and just been resentful of the tasks that I have to do in this role, because I know that deep down I'm using my time on something that isn't going to move the needle forward on what the life that I actually want, right? So what obviously I've done is I've leaned into personal brand, right? And personal brand for me was basically just sharing my experience of ADHD and the things that are challenging me on the journey and how I'm solving those problems along the way, right? And that really is what my content is all about. And that is really what I'm trying to help people with on a day-to-day through my Instagram, which I was able to grow to 145k followers. And then also my community inside of school, which is a link in the description if you want to check out the course that I have in there. And also there is a community of 4.9k members in there now. We're almost at 5k members in there. And it's just got people that just like you who kind of want to make that transitional period as well. They have a project idea they're not really working on and working towards because they think that their 9 to 5's holding them back. They think that time, I've got not enough time. They think that's holding them back. When in reality, it isn't a time issue that we have right now. When you're in your 9 to 5, it's how you're using the time, the spare time, and how you're using the time at work as well. Because the more, I've got to do this, and another meeting, this, that, like that is draining. And then plus having to do the thing as well. This is the thing I'm trying to land home for you, is that you need to change the way that you approach those things. And I'm going to tell you a quote that made a massive, massive difference to me, that really landed more for me when I left the 9 to 5. But when I was in it, there was kind of a part where I was like, I can see what I'm doing here, right? How you do anything is how you do everything, right? So how I do these YouTube videos is how I'm going to be doing my coaching. How I'm doing my coaching is how I'm going to be doing my YouTube videos, or how I'm doing my IG videos, or how I'm showing up for my community, how I'm showing up for my family, right? How you do anything is how you do everything. And that is one of the biggest things that I learned about how I was dealing with my 9 to 5, right? And if I was able to just rewind completely to the moment that I got diagnosed and just start this whole process again, if I was in that position, and if you wanted to be in that position as well, I'm hoping that this helps you, right? if I could rewind time to when I got diagnosed, the first thing I would have done is been very content with that. I'm glad that I know now, and all the things that I weren't able to do for the past 40 years of my life, or let's say 40, let's just say 25 years, because that's that 25 of working years, right? So the last 25 years of me slugging away, everything that I would have done, I would do now. And that's actually what I did, right? But one tiny detail that I would do, that I would change, is I would change my relationship with the work that I'm doing and just come to terms with that this is something that I have to do to the best of my ability, just like I would do with my work that I want to do for my purpose-driven activity, which is coaching, which is content creation, which is building systems. Like I've got a Notion system, for example, that I use. Like all of these things would have been just a stepping stone for me to lean into that even more. And what I'd have done is I would have built up 1 year's worth of savings, or at least 6 months, to make sure that in that 6 months to a year, I get to really lean into this and really put all of my energy only into this, this purpose-driven activity, or this thing that I love, this personal brand that I love, without any friction in relation to I ain't got time for this because of the thing. Here's the thing, right? When I was in a 9 to 5, I used my time pretty wisely outside of the time, right? And one of my clients as well, Yurik, did the same thing, right? He's working a 9 to 5 right now, and he's running a community, and he's acquired the star on school, right? He's done all of that doing a 9 to 5. Why is that? It's because of how he leverages the time that he does have, right? Versus, oh yeah, I'm going to leave my 9 to 5 now, and I've got all this time to do the thing. You have to be really good at how you use your time at work and get used to being very, very content with that and how you deal with that. And also how you deal with the after hours as well. And I'm going to tell you why. On this entrepreneurial journey, you're going to come across parts of the journey that's going to be very similar to your 9 to 5, right? And you think that when you transition from 9 to 5 to now doing the entrepreneurial journey, you're thinking about all the nice stuff, the nice parts of the journey. Like, oh yeah, content creation every day, and oh yeah, like making money, and like you think about all of this, like oh yeah, designing and all this stuff. You think about all the glamorous part of entrepreneurship or building a business on your own, right? But what you forget is that there's these admin tasks that we absolutely hate as an ADHDer that comes with the entrepreneurship journey, and tasks that are business activities, like for example, doing DMs, right? If I do not have any conversations in the DMs, there is no way for me to know if there's a way that I can help someone who needs my help with a specific pain that I've already solved in my life and for my clients, right? I'm not going to know unless I have a conversation with someone. And if I do see that, I can obviously invite them to jump on a call with me so I can see if I can actually help them with that on that call. And if I can help them with that call, that'd be awesome, right? Because it makes them move the needle forward on that journey. Or they get a chance to just do it with me, right? Because I've obviously done that and paved that way already for myself, right? What I've noticed is that there's some tasks and activities that, as a business owner or an ADHDer, that we're just not going to like as much, and it's going to be just as bad as the 9 to 5. And you might as well have just been in the 9 to 5 and juggled both, right? Because at the end of the day, this is the trenches, man. It's the trenches. It's really hard. It's not easy. There's going to be things that you're going to have to sacrifice, right? And I think that's what's really important to me, for you to drive home for you. What's really important for me is that if you are in a 9 to 5, which if you're watching this up to this point, that's probably the case, right? You're in your 9 to 5 and you want to transition. The best way you can transition is how you deal with your 9 to 5 and how you deal with that friction of being in there and just trying to make it lighter than it is right now. And the way you make it lighter is how you perceive it. You have to perceive it as a stepping stone to transitioning versus a thing that's holding you back from transitioning. And when you do that, you're then going to have a really smooth transition. You're then going to be able to try and get some side income that kind of matches what you have as an income right now. And then at that point, you could then look at how much savings do I have, or how much do I have to be able to play with that allows me to now really go a bit more further in, and invest more time into it. And then at that time, you could then make a decision on whether you want to leave or not, right? Or maybe do an unpaid leave like I did. But it's really important that you go through that process. For some people that watch my videos, they've actually already done that transition of leaving a 9 to 5, and now they're in the trenches and they don't know how to deal with the trenches because, of course, they've been in a corporate world and there was structure, and there's no structure anymore. So now they're like, oh, my calendar, how do I optimize it? Da, da. So in the next video, I really want to dive more into that, like the actual structuring of a day. So subscribe if you want to see, don't want to miss that. But I think it's really important for me to bring you to a really good place in where you are at the moment with having a job, and just seeing the blessing in that you don't have to worry about paying bills. You don't have to worry about, all these, these things that are going to be very, very stressful, right? If you're in the entrepreneurial journey. And if you're someone who feels that you could benefit from jumping on a call with me to just see a little bit more about how I can help you with your situation, which is what I spoke about in this video. If any of the things resonate with you and you just want me to dive a bit more into it, a conversation with you one-on-one obviously is going to help me to get a lot of context, and it's obviously going to give me a real idea of what you should do now, right? And it's going to obviously help you to just have some form of clarity around this, right? And if that's the clarity you kind of want, there's a link in the description to jump on a call with me. We might end up working together because you might see benefit in actually working with me on it, right? But the goal is really just to find out how I could get you to that outcome in some way, and take from there, okay? So, yeah, thanks for watching, and press the like. If you like it, if you like this video, just press the like. It's going to let the algorithm know that this is the type of content that has resonated, and it's going to make me obviously create more videos like this, and take from there. Anyway, take care. Peace.